for many reasons. It's critically important that advisors capture the needs and the wants of their clients. And the best way to do that is to automatically leave a meeting and start dictating your notes. You can speak faster than what you can type. Our memories are much greater than. You can actually capture maybe some of their body language along the way, what they're leaning in, is they're interesting. But most importantly, clients want to know, as demanding as they are today, that you're listening to them and that you're understanding them. So you wouldn't go to a doctor and the doctor says to you, where was your blood pressure the last time you were here? I think you would run for the hills if that happens. Same thing with our clients. If you automatically pick up where you left off and just recap some of the key points of your previous meeting, I think that you would garner more assets under management. Not only that, but the client knows that you're listening to them, that you cared about them, and it'll be a lot easier to land that prospect as a client. Not only that, I think at some point in the future, they'll be very willing to give you referrals, which is a key component. We're in the people business, so it's a key component. Documenting your notes immediately after a meeting or a call is so critically important. There's many regulatory requirements around the advisory world today, and it's never going to get any simpler, unfortunately. But even SEC regulations, FINRA, in fact, FINRA 2111 is a suitability mandate. So, and that means that you need to know your client, and any recommendation or any change in a portfolio, you have to establish that there was good reason why you made that recommendation or that change. In fact, I think it was the SEC in 2017 fined almost over 145 million just for advisors that were not documenting their suitability or didn't have evidence that they asked the right questions, the appropriate questions that would match up with either their recommendation or their change in the portfolio. Well, they could. I wouldn't recommend it. Having 30 years as a veteran in the industry and growing up in the business as an advisor, you can't keep track of everything that a client wants and needs and their minor details. Memories are fallible at some point in time. So utilizing a service that you can do on the go, or even as soon as you leave a meeting, and you can capture so much more of what the client wants to do, and it makes it so much more efficient than going home at the end of the day and trying to remember everything and missing out on, family and baseball games because you have to document your notes. No, all transcription companies are not created equal. A lot of transcription companies go overseas. So they might be in the Philippines or in India. Some of them use home-based scribes. I can speak to our differences, and we are brick and mortar. Our transcriptionists are in all US-based facilities in a controlled and monitored environment. So they have no access to phones. It's just like a FINRA testing center is a great way to explain it. They come in, they put all their personal belongings in the locker, they log on to our computers, and they have no idea who you are because privacy and security is a critical issue in today's world. So we set some standards that are very hard to duplicate. Privacy and security are definitely not the same. I think that most people lump the two together and think that they are. Security is basically safeguarding the data, but privacy is protecting the individual user. It's a huge difference between the two, and that keeps a simple distinction. Security and privacy for us is second to none. And because I am still FINRA regulated, I have to say that it's one of the key reasons that I went and I've gotten my certification as a third-party risk provider, so I know what the industry is demanding of us and keep track of what the regulators demand from what our clients have to live by. Well, I can't speak to all transcription companies, but I can certainly speak to CopyTalk. We're basically four prongs is the way I see and have a vision for our firm and for the people that we serve and the enterprises that we work with. I see fintech technology. Transcription really needs to run very smoothly. We need to capture what's being dictated to us. And we need to make sure our accuracy is there. And as I mentioned earlier, it's important that if you have a name that is quite unique, like White, W-H-Y-T-E, you can spell it out in our organization because we're using the live transcriptionist. In fact, there was a client, became a client because they used to use voice recognition and their client's name was Mary Waller, and they told me that the transcription came back as marijuana. So unfortunately, well, fortunately for CopyTalk, he switched over to us, mainly for that reason. That's the first prong. The second prong is innovation. I'm so proud of our patent pending technology called the CopyTalker. It literally sits on a platform, whether it's a custodian platform, an advisor dashboard, or in your CRM, and with the push of a button, you virtually have a live transcriptionist at your fingertips. And it goes right to the point of wherever you want in your platform. Called the CopyTalker, quite proud of it, very excited. I also see that it's workflow enhancement. Advisors today, because their firms are mandating more AUM, I mean, that's the name of the game in today's world. Advisors today want it simple. They want everything, all their technology in one place. They don't want to have to, push 4 buttons to get there. They don't want to have to dial a phone. They don't want to have to sit down and type or handwrite everything. So the workflow enhancement for what we provide is critically important. It's efficient, it's effective, and it saves advisors on an average from the people that we've polled literally 8 to 10 hours a week. Could you imagine how many more clients they can actually see with that time during a week? Add that up over a year, it's really very cost effective. The last prong that I think sets us apart from being that dusty chore is I pride ourselves on our customer service. We have a customer service team. It's the worst thing to happen. Have you taken an Uber and tried to cancel an Uber and you get charged $5 and there's nobody ever to speak to? It drives me crazy. You call us from 8 a.m. Eastern Time to 6 p.m. again Eastern Time. You have somebody to talk to. We have a great customer service team, which I think, unfortunately, in today's world is becoming rarer and rarer. So we're at your fingertips whenever you need us. There's some key differences here. The first difference is when you use a live transcriptionist, you can give them a command. You can actually say, operator, delete that last sentence. Or operator, this is a letter format. Operator, bold the next 3 sentences. So you don't have that with voice recognition. Even more critically important, if you have a client and their name is John White, White could be W-H-Y-T-E. You could spell that out with a live transcriptionist. Cannot do that with voice recognition. You could also say new paragraph. So the feedback that you get on the end transcription is much more critical and important to the advisor, that you've captured exactly the way you want to do it. We service many prominent financial institutions, and they go from independent broker-dealers, RIAs, to very large financial institutions. To name a few would be the Carson Group and LPL, TD Ameritrade, Mass Mutual. That's just to name a few.